Thanks for joining us right now for Atlanta News First Plus. We are on top of breaking news right now in Rockdale County, where we are awaiting an update within the next few minutes, hopefully, from officials about a fire at a chemical plant. You are seeing some pictures from our crew there in the area. You can see the smoke in the distance. And here's what we know at this point. The fire is happening at a location called BioLab, and this is in Rockdale County. It is prompting road closures. It is prompting some evacuations in the immediate area of this facility, and it is also prompting drivers being forced to turn around. So again, we are awaiting an update from our crew here at the scene any minute. It's going to be probably about 45 minutes now, we're learning. A news conference will be held around 10 o'clock this morning, so that has been pushed back initially. So again, here's what we know. BioLab is located in Rockdale County, and it is prompting an evacuation of people who live in this immediate area because this is a plant that deals with chemicals. We understand that they make products for spas and pools, and the location itself is on Old Covington Highway, and the road closures that are affected by this include Rockdale Industrial, Old Covington, Leicester Road. So we'll check in actually with First Alert meteorologist Courtney Jacobazzi in just a little bit. She's breaking down the traffic detours and how this is affecting drivers in the area. But a little bit more about BioLab, according to some descriptions we are finding online. It is the swimming pool and spa water division of a company, and they make products here for swimming pools and spas, and it is a really large facility here in this industrial park of Rockdale County, and they are designed to accommodate highly flammable chemicals and corrosives. They store chemical raw materials for their product manufacturing, according to one description that we are finding online. So that gives you a little bit of insight into what the concern would be if a fire breaks out here. So you're talking chemicals, you're talking a potential hazmat situation here. Again, we see some smoke here in the background from where our photographer is set up. We had our crew on the scene on one of the side streets nearby where drivers were forced to turn around, so deputies are blocking off a lot of streets. And the sheriff's office is also telling people who live in the area to stay inside, keep your windows shut, and just don't go outside to expose the risk of any potential hazard contamination. So this is a serious situation for people right now in this part of Rockdale County. Again, the facility itself located in an industrial area of Old Covington Highway. It's called BioLab, and the sheriff's office is reminding people to please stay indoors and shut their windows. We have a crew there on the scene. Again, you are looking at a live picture from our crew waiting to speak to authorities there. As you see the smoke there in the background, waiting for an update from Rockdale County Sheriff's deputies and officials. We are also digging into the past of this chemical plant. We understand that there have been issues here in the past, including a past fire at the same location in 2004. Already hearing from some people familiar with that and expressing concern about something else happening here at this facility. Here's another look of that scene. We also have a camera posted up here being kept a distance away, but you can see the smoke. You can see the haze overtaking this street here. So this gives you an idea of kind of what this area and the immediate area of that plant is dealing with. But that looks like a large plume of smoke, very hazy, and that is why people are being told to shut their windows, shut their doors, stay inside, and this is why there are road closures as well, and cars cannot get any closer than this. So if you typically need to drive in this area of Rockdale County, you will be forced to turn around today. Deputies are set up all over the place, detouring people, telling you to turn around. So Again, let's recap what we know right now. The fire broke out early this morning at BioLab in Rockdale County on Old Covington Highway. The sheriff's office said that led to the closure of several roads. They're urging people to follow detour signs. Emergency services are responding. They say safety measures are in place to protect the public, but they do want people to stay inside to minimize their exposure to any potential hazards. BioLab, again, is a chemical plant. We understand that they make products for swimming pools and spas, and that they have a history of some incidents, at least one at this location in 2004 when a fire broke out at the same location. So you're looking at a live picture right now at a nearby street where there is a large plume of smoke. Deputies have the road blocked off, and this is why people can't get any closer than this, because this is a serious potential hazmat situation affecting many people in this immediate area. We are expecting a 10 o'clock news update from authorities, and we will take those remarks to you live as soon as we learn more about what they have to say. We have multiple crews in different areas of the county at different spots, different side streets leading up to this plan, awaiting this 10 o'clock news conference. All right, we're back here now with some more information, too, about people who may be evacuated from this immediate area. The sheriff's office says that JP Carr Gym has been established as an evacuation site for people who are affected. Again, JP Carr Gym. So if you know people in that area, perhaps they are being told to leave. If they have been evacuated, try to get that word to them that JP Carr Gym is where the sheriff's office is telling people to go. So per the U.S. Chemical Safety Board, there was also a similar incident in September of 2020 when there was what they call a thermal decomposition event that happened at this biolab facility. So again, a bit of a history here. We're digging into that, looking into some records, but it does appear that this is not the first incident that is causing concern for the people in this community. So again, 10 o'clock this morning is when we are expecting to hear from Rockdale County authorities. There are several road closures in place. So let's talk about those right now, because if people are out and about trying to get out on this Sunday morning, maybe this is the route that you try to go to church, you will be running into some roadblocks. So the sheriff's office tells us that the road closures include Rockdale Industrial, Old Covington to Sigmund Road, Covington to 2nd Street, Lester Road to Sigmund Road, and Farmer Road from Sigmund Road to Rockdale Industrial Rock Bridge, from Sigmund Road to Main Street. I know that those are a lot of streets. If you live in that area, you know what I'm talking about. You are familiar with these roads. First Alert meteorologist Courtney Jacobazzi, who's been keeping an eye on the traffic map, says the good news is a lot of the main arteries, it sounds like, are still open. It's a lot of these smaller side streets that would take you closer to that plant are the ones that are shut down right now. You're looking at a live picture from our camera set up there. We saw some smoke there in the background. So this is certainly a large fire. We've been able to see the smoke in the sky from a distance. A few moments ago, we showed you another camera shot that showed a pretty large plume of smoke blocking off a side street not far from that plant. You can imagine our crews are being kept a safe distance back as they try to gather these details for you about what's happening with the plant. But they are getting as close as they can, staying in touch with officials. So as soon as we get more information here into our newsroom, this is a very fluid situation, we will pass it along to you. I'm Megan Packer, First Alert, here at the First Alert Breaking News Desk. Thank you so much for joining us. This is Atlanta News First Plus streaming on this Sunday morning. And again, we will stay with you here, showing you live pictures, bringing you updates as they come in. But again, the headline this morning, a fire at a chemical plant in Rockdale County. The company is called BioLab, and it happened early this morning. People are being told to stay inside. Some people in the area being told to evacuate. So working to get some of those details confirmed from the sheriff's office about who exactly needs to evacuate, who exactly needs to be staying inside and shutting their windows, just to make sure that everybody in this immediate area has the very latest and up-to-date information. All right, back live here now. We are going to try to check in with our reporter on the scene, Atlanta News First reporter Asia Wilson. Asia, let me know if you can hear me. All right, we'll try to get Asia there. She's been out there for a while now this morning. As soon as we can get her up and running, we'll talk with her because she's been talking to people in this area, drivers who are being forced to turn around. I know one of the drivers she spoke with was a florist trying to get to a wedding, trying to figure out her plan B. So just one example of how people in this immediate area are being affected. For now, let me bring in First Alert meteorologist Courtney Jacobazzi. She can talk a little bit about the road closures. Courtney, we are waiting to get Asia up and running, so we'll jump in and talk to her when she's available to call in. But talk to me about the roads that are closed right now and what people need to know to get around.
Right, totally. So we do have a handful of road closures, of course, in the area. Earlier, we were thinking you can use Sigmund Road to kind of go eastbound or westbound through Conyers, but it's becoming apparent that we do have part of Sigmund Road, closed down over near Rockbridge Road. So we are working on trying to figure out exactly a route around everything. I'm going to pull up some of my traffic graphics for you to kind of give you a little bit of a better visual. But overall, we are dealing with, again, road closures in a handful of spots. I'm going to read off a few of them for you. In the city of Conyers, we have Green Street from Needmore Street to West Avenue. West Avenue is just actually to the east of where this whole situation started. Dogwood Drive from Black Lawn Road to West Avenue. So that's all kind of within the periphery of where this BioLab is. But let me get to put my traffic graphics in for you. Give me just 1 second while I get that situated for you so I can give you a better visual. All right, so here we go. Here is, and I'm going to take this super off for you. We can put it back up shortly, but I just want to give you kind of an idea of where exactly we are dealing with this issue. Of course, if you live in Rockdale County, you live in Conyers, you're probably very familiar, but just to give you a better picture here, BioLab is along Old Covington Highway. West Avenue is just to the right of what you're seeing on your screen. Sigmund Road just to the north there. Sigmund Road was the original kind of way around this, but what we're learning is that potentially parts of Sigmund and Rockbridge, kind of at that intersection there, may be shut down. So even now, Sigmund Road has to be avoided. There are some kind of detours. Now, mind you, it's a fairly lengthy detour. If you're on Sigmund Road, right now, as far as I'm concerned, Irwin Bridge Road is not shut down. So you can travel on Sigmund Road if you're traveling in the east or the westbound direction, excuse me. Then right now you are able to kind of take that turn onto Irwin Bridge Road, take that to Farmer Road, and then onto Rock Bridge. Because the further you get closer to Sigmund Road around Rock Bridge, that's where you're going to start running into the closures. But if you kind of need to get around and make your way through the county, as of right now, we aren't informed that any of these roads as far north as where I'm showing you are shut down. So that's a way for you to get around if you are, again, trying to travel along Sigmund Road and you normally continue westbound. This is a way to kind of get around that and kind of continue on north. It also looks like if you took Irwin Bridge Road to what looks like Stepping Stone Lane potentially, or taking you towards Rockbridge Road, again, north of where the entire incident is happening. So that is one alternate route for you. Again, as far as I'm concerned, some of these roads here that I'm showing you are not shut down, but we have also, if you're trying to travel eastbound, going and you usually use Sigmund Road or Old Covington Highway, you can make your way over towards Lake Rockaway Road, and that'll bring you to Rockbridge Road, to Farmer Road, and beyond, taking you kind of the long way, of course, but the only way around with all of this that's going on right now. So here's a look at some of the road closures that we have that are active. So Rockdale Industrial, that parallels Old Covington Highway, where Biolab is, so where the event all started. So Rockdale Industrial and, of course, naturally, Old Covington Highway currently shut down. Covington to 2nd Street in that area is also shut down. Lester Road to Sigmund Road is shut down, and Farmer Road and Rockbridge from Sigmund Road. So if you usually use Sigmund Road and you take Farmer or Rockbridge to get down to Rockdale Industrial or Old Covington Highway, right now that is shut down. You will be detoured around that. And again, right now, maybe potentially kind of that whole periphery around where Rockbridge meets Sigmund, that could also be shut down right now. We're still learning to get more details. But in the meantime, again, if you usually use Sigmund Road or Rockdale Industrial Road, there are a lot of businesses along there, a couple of tire shops, from what we learned, a storage facility. Of course, we have Biolab, a couple of restaurants at the way end of it. So if you typically travel along, again, Rockdale or Old Covington Highway. Sigmund Road was that alternate route, but it's becoming apparent that as you make your way to Sigmund and Rockdale Industrial, or Rockbridge Road, Sigmund and Rockbridge Road, where those kind of intersect there, it's becoming apparent that that might even be shut down, so you won't be able to continue all the way eastbound or westbound on Sigmund as you approach Rockbridge Road. So you're going to be detoured around it in a pretty big way. I gave some, at least, potential long ways. If you're traveling along Sigmund, take your turn onto Irwin Bridge Road, which would be a right turn, and then go to Farmer Road and then on Rock Bridge. As far as we're concerned right now, these portions of Farmer and Rock Bridge are not shut down. But again, regardless, you're going to be detoured if you continue along your normal route. And, you know, that detour will direct you in the right way. But if you want to avoid the headache altogether, it seems like these are some alternate routes for you right now. Again, Biolab along Old Covington Highway, a very fluid situation right now. We're still learning a lot. Megan, have we gotten anything new from officials here in this area?
No, we are awaiting
all your help.
Do you know if this place processes?
We are awaiting a 10 o'clock news conference, Courtney, and we are going to try to check in right now with our reporter there on the scene, Asia Wilson. Asia, let us know if you can hear us.
Hey, I can hear you.
Hey, Asia. Okay, so bring us up to speed
Yes, I
on
can
what
hear
you're
you.
seeing out there, and just how things are going, what you've been seeing, and who you've been talking to.
Well, right now, or actually for the last hour, we've been stationed at the Rockdale Fire Rescue Training Academy. It's maybe about 5-6 minutes away from Old Covington Highway. We're stationed here because there is a press conference. We've been waiting around for a press conference that's set to take place. The time has kind of been pushed back to 10 a.m. But since we've been here, we've been seeing actually smoke in the air here. You can actually see it in the clouds a little bit. We haven't been seeing a lot of people driving by affected by that particular area. Well, while we were out there earlier, we did, speak with several people who were kind of frustrated with having to turn around. One woman said that she was trying to get to one of her storage locations to get prepared for a wedding. She's a florist, and she's supposed to be setting up for a wedding this morning, but she was unable to get to that location. So a lot of impacts we've been seeing. We've been hearing other We have another crew who's on the other side, another photojournalist who's on the other side, who said he's been speaking with several residents as well. So a lot of impacts out here. We're just waiting to get more information.
And you were kept far away. Talk about when you first arrived to the scene a little while ago, deputies were blocking off the roads. You couldn't get anywhere near this plant, obviously, right?
We could not. They told people to avoid the area, and for some, they said to stay inside, keep your windows closed. And they kept us at a distance as well, just as a safety precautionary measure, just so we won't get close to that area as well. But yeah, that's just kind of been the story out here. Stay as far as you can from the area, avoid it if possible, take detours, pay attention to those detour signs as well. So they're keeping us safe as well. So right now we are at the Rockdale County Fire Rescue Training Academy. It's about 6 minutes away from where all of this is happening. So we haven't had our eyes on the bio lab, but we can see the smoke a little bit here in the air.
So you see it in the distance. Do you smell anything? How else can you describe just kind of your senses there?
I don't smell anything. You just see the smoke. We have heard that, from other folks that, they were told to leave their homes or stay inside their homes at that particular area. So I haven't really been able to smell anything, haven't really seen anything. We did see, I think it was DeKalb County, first responders also here helping or going to the scene. I saw a construction worker who was carrying equipment, it appeared, to the scene. So when we were at the last location, he actually said, hey, can I get through? I'm going to the bio lab. He was speaking with the Rockdale Sheriff's Office, and they let him through. So we assume that they are only letting people who are responding to the particular location close to that area, but they're not letting anyone else anywhere near that location.
And we should let people know that the JP Carr Gym in that area has been set up as an evacuation site. That is at 90 Hardin Street Southwest in Conyers. Again, the JP Carr Gym opening up as an evacuation site for those who have been affected. Asia, we're learning it sounds like this chemical plant has had some issues in the past. Are you hearing more about that from people that you've been talking to this morning?
Yes, some said they remember a fire that broke out here in 2004. Others saying that they believe that there were other issues that have happened since then at this particular location. A lot of concerns about that. So we're still waiting to get more information. But also, per the U.S. Chemical Safety Board, we just got this information in. A similar thing happened in September of 2020. It looks like on Monday, September 14th, 2020, there was some type of incident at the biolab facility in Conyers. So there were no injuries during that time reported, but again, it was due to some sort of smoke incident at that location. But we're waiting to get more information about what's been going on at that plant this year, last year, over the last couple of years.
Yeah, we're also seeing some information about a fire there at that same location back in 2004. We should remind people this is a chemical plant. They make products for pools and spas and things along those lines. All right, Asia, well, thank you. Keep us posted out there. You are there ready for this 9 a.m. or 10 a.m. news conference. We are expecting to hear from the Director of Public Relations for Rockdale County. Will she be joined by anybody else? Any law enforcement, anyone from the fire department, sheriff's office that you know of?
As of right now, we've been told that she would be the only one speaking. We do believe that we are at the Rockdale County Fire Rescue. Maybe the chief will be here. We're just unsure of that right now. What we do know, Melissa Mims, the Director of Public Relations for Rockdale County, will be speaking, as this plant is on the county side.
Asia Wilson, thank you so much for checking in. We will obviously stay in very close contact with you throughout the morning.
Thank you.
All right, we were talking to our reporter there, Asia Wilson, live on the scene, awaiting that news conference. Starting here within the next 25 minutes or so. Of course, you can watch that live right here on Atlanta News First Plus. We'll try to bring up some different images and pictures here as they come into our newsroom, showing you some different vantage points of what our crews on the scene are running into, as far as the smoke that they're seeing in the distance. Some pictures are coming into our newsroom as well. So we will work to get those up for you here in just a moment. All right, this is a picture we're looking at provided to us by the Rockdale County government. It shows a plume of smoke. It just shows you some of the smoke filling these side streets that people have been running into this morning. So this gives you a good idea of just how intense. I mean, there is no visibility there through that thick cloud of smoke. So again, to recap what we know at this point, we are dealing with a fire at a chemical plant in Rockdale County. The company is called BioLab. We are awaiting an update from officials. Really no details about the fire have been released. So as soon as we know more about what happened, you will know as they come in. All we know at this point from officials is that it broke out early this morning at the BioLab facility. It's in an industrial area of Rockdale County. It's located on Old Covington Highway. It led to the closure of several roads in the area, and people being told to stay indoors and keep windows closed to minimize their exposure to any potential hazards. There were some people being evacuated in the immediate area of the facility, and those people are being told to go to a nearby gym, and that gym is in nearby Conyers, the JP Car Gym. And so those people in the immediate area, it sounds like it's a mix of potentially residential and commercial locations here near this plant. So again, a 10 a.m. news conference expected. That's 20 minutes from now with the spokesperson for Rockdale County government. You can watch that live here on the air. We just talked to our reporter on the scene, Asia Wilson. She's been in a couple of different spots where she's being kept a far distance away. Obviously, this is a potentially concerning information, a situation here. So our crews, of course, can't get too close, but they can see the smoke in the distance. And again, you're looking at a picture here given to us by the Rockdale County government showing just how thick this smoke was filling the immediate area near this plant. We do not know the nature of the fire, how it started, if anybody is injured. So really, really a lot of questions still left to be answered at this point. We're reaching out to the sheriff's office, to fire officials, anybody that we can work to get some information from. So we've got a team of people here at Atlanta News First working to get those information, those details for you. Road closures are a big part of this right now. There are several in place. So a lot of drivers are being forced to turn around. If this is your normal way to church on a Sunday morning, you may be met by a deputy who is blocking the road and telling you to turn around. Let me bring in First Alert Meteorologist Courtney Jacobazzi, who's been really keeping an eye on the roadways for us and helping you navigate around. Courtney, tell me about what you've been seeing, and have the road closures been going up? Does it seem like more and more streets in the area are getting shut down?
Yeah, we've seen a few just within the last about half hour or so get shut down that weren't originally on the list. So I think as crews are kind of assessing the situation and seeing just how vast this cloud of smoke. I mean, look at that picture on your screen. That's incredible. They're starting to close more and more roads, I think, just to keep a really safe perimeter around the area. So we are going to give you a list of the road closures. Also, we'll kind of show you maybe some ways around it. Unfortunately, when you're shutting down very large kind of passing roadways, such as Old Covington Highway, Rockdale Road, Sigmund Road, it's really hard to get to where you need to go in an easier manner because Old Covington and Sigmund Road are two really main travel ways through Rockdale County and through Conyers specifically. So some of the newest road closures quickly, just as of a little after 9 o'clock here, we're looking at, in the city of Conyers, Green Street from Needmore Street to West Avenue. West Avenue kind of comes up to Old Covington Highway. So now some of the kind of other roads, the tributary roads along Old Covington Highway now starting to get shut down. Again, Green Street from Needmore Street to West Avenue, a Dogwood Drive from Black Lawn Road. Black Lawn Road is actually very close to where BioLab is along Old Covington Highway, so that doesn't surprise me. And you can actually see Green Street right above our Atlanta News First bug on your screen there, where you see the ANF kind of flipping around. So over near Green Street, that is currently closed again from Needmore Street to West Avenue. West Avenue is just a little further, I believe, off to the right from Green Street. But nonetheless, we are going to continue to watch for alternate routes for you. In fact, I'm actually going to go into my traffic maps for you. I'm going to kind of log into them a little bit so I can control them from out here so that I can kind of show you around a little bit better. But first, let me take you to some of the other road closures right now. I'm going to have to go through some of my graphics because they're set up in a certain order. But these are road closures that we got originally. So Rockdale Industrial currently shut down, Covington to 2nd Street, Leicester Road to Sigmund Road. So Leicester, Farmer, and Rockbridge all kind of come up to Sigmund and can help you get to Old Covington Highway, where again BioLab sits along. So naturally they shut those down because they don't want you to be able to get close to Old Covington Highway. So these are the original road closures we received. Again, the newest ones: Green Street from Needmore Street to West Avenue. That is just to the east of where BioLab is. Dogwood Drive from Black Lawn Road to West Avenue. That is even closer to where BioLab is. So we'll continue to monitor any street closures that continue here. I'm going to log into my traffic map right now so that I can kind of navigate you through a little bit better here. So here's a look at our traffic map, taking you into Rockdale County, specifically near Conyers. If I turn the incident reports on, they get a little bit difficult to navigate. I'm going to check in on those really quickly, though, just to kind of get an idea. So you can see all of those road closure signs here. And let me take this off as well. That'll probably help a little bit. So you can see all the road closure signs along Old Covington Highway, which of course is right here, Old Covington Highway. So you can see the closures along that. They have that shut down. It looks like now they do have Sigmund Road shut down. That originally was the alternate route, but it looks like Sigmund Road also shut down. I can actually put a kind of a question mark on that and see if it will give me Sigmund Road. So Sigmund Road is closed in both ways from Leicester Road to Farmer Road as of right now. So Leicester Road is, let me take this off for you. Leicester Road is right here, and then Farmer Road, I believe, is a little bit off to the east or the west. All the roads are starting to mix together. But nonetheless, you have Sigmund Road between Leicester Road and Farmer Road that are currently shut down. Let's kind of query some of these just to give you a better idea as well. Rockdale Industrial Boulevard closed from Leicester Road to Old Covington Highway. And then we have, lastly, in this area, we have... This is probably Old Covington Highway. Leicester Road closed from Sigmund Road to Rockdale Industrial Boulevard. So where that is, this road closure is for this specific area right here. Leicester Road, I'm going to put a little line on there for you. Leicester Road from Sigmund, which is up in this direction right here, all the way down to Rockdale Industrial, which is right where that closure sign is. So Leicester Road completely shut down because that is an access road to an area that they don't want people to be. But then most importantly, where originally we were thinking you could get around, it looks like part of a portion of Sigmund Road. So not all of Sigmund Road is closed right now, but from Leicester Road to Farmer Road currently shut down as well. I'm going to take these closure signs off for you. So here it is. This is the portion of Sigmund Road that is currently shut down between Farmer Road and Lester Road along Sigmund, because again, Farmer and Lester will actually take you down to, it looks like, some roads that will take you down to Rockdale Industrial. So they're trying to prevent people from going down those in order to get towards where this whole scene is happening. Did we learn anything about potentially Sigmund and Rockbridge Road? Anything that's going on there? No?
Nothing new yet.
Okay, because we were hearing that potentially this plume of smoke that you're seeing on your screen there could potentially be making its way over to Sigmund and Rockbridge Road as well and impacting that area. But as far as I know right now, that particular stretch of Sigmund isn't shut down. Right now, what we do know is, again, Lester and Farmer is the stretch of Sigmund that is shut down. If that is the case, then you are still able to use Sigmund to get onto Rockbridge and kind of take the long way around, going from Rockbridge to maybe Lake Rockaway to get around the particular stretch of Sigmund that's shut down. And of course, you kind of just want to avoid Old Covington Highway and not Rockbridge Road, Old Covington Highway, and the names are sounding too similar at this point. Old Covington Highway and Rockdale Industrial. There we go. Excuse me. You have Rockbridge and Rockdale Industrial. So because Old Covington and Rockdale Industrial are currently shut down because of its proximity to Biolab and this whole scene that's ongoing, if you want to use Sigmund Road, there is a portion of Sigmund that's shut down. But as far as we're concerned right now, Sigmund at Rockbridge is not shut down, and you could take that again to Lake Rockaway and kind of make your way around and get back onto Sigmund, but you are not able to use Sigmund Road between Lester and Farmer. So that stretch of Sigmund Road currently shut down. It's going to take you essentially the long way to get around that portion of Sigmund, but it does look like Rockbridge to Lake Rockaway, that could bring you back down to Sigmund Road in order to get around this particular stretch of Sigmund that is shut down. And again, you just want to avoid heading towards Covington Highway, Old Covington Highway, and Rockdale Industrial Boulevard at all costs. Here's a look again at the road closures that we have. So Rockdale Industrial, Covington to 2nd Street, Lester Road to Sigmund Road, and we have learned that Sigmund Road is also shut down from Lester to Farmer, and Farmer Road and Rockbridge from Sigmund. So those roads run north and south, and Sigmund runs east and west. So right now, if you take Sigmund and you try to get onto Farmer or Rockbridge, you're not going to be able to do so. And in fact, you won't even be able to get to Farmer if you're coming from Conyers because Lester Road is shut down. So that's more so. Farmer Road is more of an issue for those of you coming in from the west side of Conyers. But nonetheless, we have Farmer Road and Rockbridge from Sigmund shut down because they're trying to avoid people headed towards Old Covington Highway, where a scene like this is currently ongoing. Really incredible images here. We're still learning more about what exactly is happening. Some developments from Rockdale County Sheriff, and I believe, is it Conyers PD that's on scene there?
I think there are multiple law enforcement jurisdictions out here. This is Rockdale County Sheriff's Office, Courtney, who's been giving us most of the updates throughout the morning. We're expecting at 10 o'clock to hear from a spokesperson for the Rockdale County government. But you can imagine something of this nature would bring out several different organizations, several investigative agencies, law enforcement. Of course, we can tell looking at this video just how just how intense this smoke is, because we don't know even how far this shot is from the plant. So you can imagine how thick it must be right up on that building to see it from this far away, because our photographers are being kept a decent distance away from the plant, as you would imagine, since we're talking about a chemical plant that has caught fire.
Right, absolutely. And, obviously very flammable substances in there. So this isn't something that's easily necessarily contained to a small area. Something that is extremely flammable, obviously going to create a very vast impact. And that is why they're shutting down so many of the roadways there surrounding where this biolab was, the biolab along Old Covington Highway. So you have Sigmund Road that I believe is still open in some spots, which is a really popular route through Rockdale County. I'll take you there on our first alert traffic map here so we can kind of give you an idea. So BioLab is just to the west of Green Street. It's to the east, southeast of Sigmund Road. So that is where the incident started. We do have a handful of roads along Old Covington Highway and surrounding Old Covington Highway currently shut down. Lester Road is one of them. Farmer Road from Sigmund Road also, and a stretch of Sigmund Road between Lester and Farmer. So that's about a mile stretch or so from Lester to Farmer, where you're seeing those arrows on your screen. That portion of Sigmund Road is also currently shut down. I believe this is because officials just want to keep people off of Lester and Farmer in the first place. If you run up to Farmer or you run up to Lester along Sigmund Road, or you're driving along it northbound or southbound, you're more than likely going to run into a detour that way, because again, crews are just trying to keep everyone away from the perimeter that they've set up over there. There were a couple of evacuation centers, I believe, that they're setting up, a gym and one of the community centers in the area.
It's called the JP Card Gym. I'll double check that and get you the address. But yes, for people in that immediate area who were being told to evacuate, the sheriff's office did let everybody know that there is an evacuation site open. The JP Card Gym has been established as a location, a safe spot where people can go. That is at 90 Hardin Street in Conyers. That's 90 Hardin Street Southwest in Conyers. Again, the JP Card Gym established as an evacuation site. And Courtney, you're talking about the road closures. If there is one little glimmer here, it's that it's a Sunday morning, almost 10 o'clock. We're not talking about a weekday where you've got school buses and people trying to get to work.
Right.
But still, of course, people are out and about, and these road closures are certainly impacting drivers, but nothing like what it would be like on a weekday morning.
Absolutely, yeah. When I was looking at our traffic map and everything, you're not seeing much of an impact because, yeah, a lot of people probably are just kind of enjoying their Sunday morning. I was looking at a website, ready.gov. So this is a site that can give you some tips and essentially safety precautions to take in situations like this. So we've been talking about this a lot. You want to stay indoors. So really, we're giving you these road closures, but officials in the area are telling you not to go onto the road. If you have pets outside, even if it's a bird in a bird cage on your back porch, you want to bring your pets inside because obviously they're being exposed to potentially some chemicals that are in the air. Now, we haven't heard kind of the extent, as far as I'm concerned, Megan, about how this is impacting the air quality. But, you don't want to, take risks with something like this.
Well,
you want
of course.
to,
and we see the plumes of smoke.
Correct.
So something is in the air right now, and we need to find out more about what this is exactly.
Absolutely. So just some other helpful information for you. If you're waking up with us in the Conyers area where this situation is ongoing, you'll want to close and lock all of your exterior doors and windows. We've already been telling you that. Officials in the area have been letting people know that you're going to want to keep your windows sealed, your doors sealed. If you can close your vents, if you have any kind of fireplace with some open kind of access to outside, you want to try to close the vent in there as well. And this is saying, again, this is from ready.gov, so one of our government websites that will give you access to helpful material for all kinds of situations like this, whether it be natural disasters or hazmat situations. You want to close as many interior doors as possible. It's not giving an explanation as to why, but that is one of the kind of helpful pieces of information that's on here for those of you who are living in the Conyers area. You're being told to stay inside, close all your doors and windows. But if you do have any vents that go out to the outside, you'll want to try to close those as well, including things like a fireplace. If you have a vent within there that can kind of, shut everything off, that'd be good. Now, if you were outside during all of this happening, again, we implore you, if for some reason you're maybe, have your phone propped up on your phone holder in your car, you'll want to keep your car windows open, shut off your air conditioning unit as well in your car, because that obviously circulates the air from the outside inside your car. And that might even be kind of a smart idea until the situation is completely cleared today. If you might not be heading out right now, but within the next few minutes, the next hour or so, maybe you're headed to church, going to run some errands, and you do need to drive in this area, keep your car windows open. And I know it's not super comfortable. Thankfully, the temperatures are pretty comfortable outside. This is imploring you to keep your vents closed and shut off your air conditioning as well, because again, that kind of circulates the air from outside inside. Again, we have a couple of evacuation zones that they've set up, or kind of places you can go if you need to seek shelter. If you are out and about, we'll continue to update you if any more do open. So that is what we are learning right now. Again, a situation in Conyers, a fire at a biolab facility in Rockdale County along Old Covington Highway. Those are the road closures you're looking at on your screen. Here are some images of the plume of smoke. We are waiting to hear from officials in the area about an update on this chemical plant fire that is expected to happen at 10 a.m. But again, looking at just some really good information for those of you living in this area. Things that you should do according to ready.gov. Again, this is a website that the government puts out to help you prepare for natural disasters, power outages, severe weather, flooding, hazmat situations. Make sure you're keeping those windows and doors closed, and any kind of ventilation from outside that could potentially seep inside your house. You'll want to keep those closed. And if you needed to drive in the next little while, try to keep that air conditioning off, because that will prevent anything from circulating outside of your car into your car. And make sure you're thinking about your pets too in this situation. You want to bring those inside. We'll continue to watch road closures. Right now, no new ones as of the latest update for you, but we'll continue to monitor those for you if we do get any more. But you'll want to avoid Rockdale Industrial and Old Covington Highway, and we also have part of Sigmund Road between Leicester and Farmer currently shut down. So that's what we're looking at, among a handful of other streets that are currently shut down right now. So.
All right, Courtney, thank you so much for updating us on that. We do want to get ready here any moment now, hopefully within the next 3 minutes. We are expecting to hear a news conference given by a spokesperson for Rockdale County government. If you're just joining us here on Atlanta News First Plus on this Sunday morning, we'll recap what we know at this point. There is an emergency situation in Rockdale County. A fire broke out this morning at BioLab. It is a chemical plant on Old Covington Highway, and this led to nearby roads being shut down, some evacuations happening, others being told to stay inside, shut their doors, shut their windows. Great tips we just heard from Courtney Jacobazzi for people who live in the area where we're seeing these plumes of smoke in the sky right now, being told to shut their doors and windows to minimize any exposure to potential hazards. So we are expecting a 10 o'clock update here, hopefully within the next few minutes, as we learn more about the nature of this fire, how it started, if anybody is injured, what the response has been looking like this morning. You can imagine our crews are being kept far back because you are dealing with a fire at a plant that deals with chemicals. We understand they make products for pools and spas. And so we know that it's been active now for a couple of hours. And we showed you just a moment ago the smoke that has been filling some of those nearby areas, filling up the streets. Really no visibility in the one shot we saw here just a moment ago. So pretty concerning, of course, for people who are in that area. We have a team of reporter and a couple of photographers there on the scene trying to bring you different vantage points of this immediate area. So this is a look from where this news conference is expected to happen here in the next few minutes, where people are starting to gather. And there is an evacuation site that has been opened up for people who need a safe place to go. It is the JP Card Gym in Conyers. So if you know anybody in this area that needs to get to that evacuation site, you can let them know that the sheriff's office has opened up the JP Card Gym as a location where they can go as an evacuation site. We're learning that this facility has had some issues in the past. It sounds like perhaps one or two fires in the past. So we are digging into that, working to learn some more about the history of this plant and any issues that it may have. But right now it's causing issues for people in this immediate area. Our crews there talking to people being forced to turn around. They talked to a florist who was trying to get to a wedding, so she had to find an alternate route. And of course, just for anybody living anywhere within a certain radius of this plant. You know, they're going to be on edge hearing about this until we learn a little bit more about the nature of this fire and what exactly the plume of smoke is that we have been seeing go up into the air this morning. So stay with us here on Atlanta News First Plus. We are going to get this set up right now. We want to make sure that we can bring you this news conference here when it happens, and we'll bring it to you right as that starts in just a few minutes. Stay with us. All right, we are looking live again as we await an update from officials in Rockdale County about the plant fire at a chemical plant there. So we are set up, ready to roll when they are. But I'm Megan Packer. Thank you for checking in with us here at Atlanta News First Plus as we cover this breaking news for you. First Alert meteorologist Courtney Jacobazzi is here with me as well. Courtney, talk about the weather conditions today, the wind that we're seeing, because we've been seeing some pretty big plumes of smoke in this area. Of course, we're waiting to learn what exactly we're seeing in the air from this fire.
Right.
But how could this be impacting this immediate area?
Yeah, so, we've been hearing that potentially this plume of smoke is kind of traveling off to the northeast, which makes a lot of sense. We have a wind coming in from the southwest, wrapping around the remnants of Helene through the day today. So that southwest wind is going to start to scoot all of this off to the northeast. So while this originally impacting Conyers, if you live in the Millstead area, if you live along the Yellow River through Conyers, especially along 138, that highway there, potentially this could start to spread to you. Again, the wind is going to stay fairly elevated today. Won't be quite as breezy as yesterday, but we do have that southwest wind that could help kind of push some of this smoke and potentially hazardous air into surrounding communities outside of Conyers. So again, just kind of looking at my map here, it looks like Millstead is just to the northeast of Conyers. We have the Lakeview Estates area that is to the north of Conyers. And again, this isn't necessarily a thunderstorm, so it's not like it is a cell that is moving. This is something that's very fluid. You're talking about smoke that is not necessarily going to take the shape of any kind of confined cell like a storm would. Obviously, gas and smoke is something that flows ever freely, so this could even expand beyond that. The wind not going to help with them trying to kind of confine this here. So we'll be watching for potentially more road closures, potentially for more maybe evacuation sites to open, or for more announcements to go on to surrounding communities. But just kind of with that southwest wind, this is going to push everything to the northeast. So where this originated was off of Old Covington Highway, the biolab facility. And so if you live again along the Yellow River, Millstead area, Lakeview Estates, that's all to the north of Conyers. And it looks like if you're traveling along or you live near Parker's Lake, over near Black Shoals Park, that could potentially be impacted if this continues to go that far north. But you just want to heed the warning if you live in Rockdale County, especially north of the city. If you live south of the city, while it could spread, of course, you're not going to necessarily, the wind will kind of help push everything to the north with that southwest wind coming in. So the wind coming out of the southwest pushing everything northeast. Walnut Grove is somewhere that I'm seeing pop up on my map here. Now, again, that's a pretty solid distance from Conyers, so not necessarily super concerned about that right now. But if you do live north of Conyers, probably a good idea to be extra vigilant right now and paying attention to what emergency officials in the area are saying, as our wind could gust up to 15. We'll have a pretty sustained wind, 5 to 10 today, so it's not necessarily a still air that we're talking about today, Megan.
And we're learning a little bit more as well, Courtney, about who should evacuate. We've been telling you that some people have been told to stay inside and shut their windows and their doors. And then people in that immediate area, some are being told to evacuate. So according to a post from the Rockdale County Sheriff's Office, anybody between Sigmund Road and I-20 needs to evacuate. Anybody north of Sigmund should shelter in place and keep their windows closed. So let's repeat that. Anybody between Sigmund and I-20 should evacuate. Anybody north of Sigmund Road should shelter in place and keep their windows closed. We're also getting some information into our newsroom now from Conyers Police about street closures in the city of Conyers. Green Street from Needmore Street to West Avenue, Dogwood Drive from Black Lawn Road to West Avenue, and Sigmund Road at Irwin Bridge Road is closed to traffic traveling toward I-20. So that is how the streets are being affected in the city of Conyers. So we're talking Rockdale County, we're talking city limit of Conyers as well being affected. And then for those folks who do need to evacuate, they can go to JP Card Gym, set up as a shelter for people who did need to evacuate. So we are awaiting a news conference, hopefully within the next few minutes here, as we learn more. We really do need the details still of this fire, of the nature of it, how it started. Is anyone injured in this plant? Were people working this morning when this broke out? You're looking at video right now that our photographer shot just a little while ago. This is not a live picture. This is from within the past hour or so, but this gives you an idea of the smoke that was filling the nearby neighborhoods. Courtney, I know you've been looking at the map. Talk to me about, is this residential in this immediate area, do you know, or is it mostly commercial?
It looks like for the most part it's commercial. Kind of along Sigmund Road, I'm seeing Dealer Supply, Moore's Auto Service. It looks like United Refrigeration Inc. It looks like a Mercedes Service Center is along there, Collision Center. So it looks like a lot of almost like automobile repair shops and service shops are along Sigmund Road here, but that doesn't mean that there aren't any residential neighborhoods. But for the most part, this does look industrial. Lee's Lake is near here. I'd be really curious to see if this would impact any of the waterways. I'm sure they're going to have to test some of the water if the air is polluted around it. They may need to go out and test some of the waterways in the area. It does look like there are a handful of them along where this is impacting. So I'd be curious to hear kind of the steps forward. But of course, right now we're more so worried about what's going on right now. And as Megan mentioned, if you live was south of Sigmund Road, you need to evacuate if you live in that area. But again, that looks like this is mostly industrial, but that doesn't mean that we don't have at least a few maybe apartment complexes in this area.
Between Sigmund and I-20 needs to evacuate.
Sigmund and I-20. Okay, yep. So it looks like as you go closer to I-20, again, a lot of kind of just industrial complexes surrounding a biolab in that area. But it does look like potentially just to the east of it, over near Olympic Street, off of Black Lawn Road, which is one of the roads that's closed right now, there may potentially be an apartment complex over in that area. So, but again, it does look a lot of industrial complexes along where they need to evacuate.
Okay, and then hopefully all of those people are tuned in, hopefully getting alerts from the sheriff's office, hopefully listening to us and just understanding whether you need to stay at home and shut your doors and windows or if you need to get out of this area. So again, if you're just jumping onto our live stream here, you're watching Atlanta News First Plus. It is 10:10 on this Sunday morning, and we are on top of breaking news of a fire at a chemical plant called Biolab in Rockdale County. It happened within the past couple of hours, but we're still waiting on the details from officials. We're waiting for them to step up to the microphone as soon as they are ready to do so to provide an update to us, but we know that this is causing some issues in this area. It's causing road closures. It is causing the evacuations that we've talked about, and no doubt causing a bit of concern for people who are in this immediate area when they hear that they need to be closing their windows and avoiding any potential exposure. We're talking about a chemical plant that makes products for pools and spas, so we don't know any details yet about this fire, of how it started, if anybody was injured, the nature of it, what the response looks like right now, if it is under control. The picture you're looking at is not live. This is recorded earlier, but we have been seeing some smoke in the distance. But this just gives you an idea of what it looked like in that immediate area. So lots of questions for the officials who are getting ready to provide this update. Our camera here is ready to go, as you can see. So when they walk up to it to provide that update, we will certainly bring it to you. But if you have loved ones in this area near Biolab, you do just need to let them know that anybody between Sigmund Road and I-20 needs to evacuate. Anybody north of Sigmund should shelter in place and keep their windows closed. The Biolab facility is located on Old Covington Highway in Rockdale County, and this is where that fire has been burning since it broke out earlier this morning. Again, we are awaiting the update from officials, and we can tell you that we're getting a statement into our newsroom right now. This may be from the parent company here. I will read this to you as I get it. This is a statement from KIK Consumer Products. They say, we are actively investigating an incident at our Biolab facility in Conyers, Georgia. Our employees are accounted for with no injuries reported. Our team is on the scene working with first responders and local authorities to assess and contain the situation. As always, the safety of our community remains our top priority. So, Courtney, this is the first time that we are hearing from this company, KIK Consumer Products. So they are saying that this is their Biolab facility, and some encouraging news for anybody who's maybe been holding their breath is that employees are accounted for with no injuries.
Right. And, that was kind of a testament to something we were saying earlier when it came to the road closures. A lot of people just aren't at work. They aren't on the roads early this morning because, this did happen early on a Sunday. So good news to hear that everyone's accounted for, that everyone is okay. But it is still a very active situation, a serious situation, especially with a lot of unknown with something like this. Again, we've been saying if you live between Sigmund and I-20, you are being told to evacuate right now. We'll continue to monitor the situation as potentially this smoke could continue to flow northeast with our kind of elevated wind we have today. That's something that of concern. Thankfully, just from looking, it looks like a lot of areas surrounding where this situation happened and who are under the evacuation orders, it is a lot of industrial areas. Unfortunately for businesses in that area, that's going to mean potentially loss of customers, loss of service today if they do have to evacuate and remain closed. But of course, it's for their safety and their health and their best interest. The only thing that I'm seeing that looks to be maybe a little more highly populated, there are a handful of hotels along this area. So I'd be curious to see how they're being impacted for people maybe staying in Conyers and some of the local hotels along I-20 between 20 and Sigmund. That's something that I'm sure people who were just trying to either they're here on work or they're here for vacation in North Georgia. I'd be interested to see how that's impacting maybe some of the hotels in the area that could be holding a lot of people who are new to the area and maybe not very familiar of where to go, definitely not familiar with what to do in a situation like this. But yeah, good news to hear that everybody is accounted for and okay. And we are waiting on this press conference right now from officials to kind of give us a little more information. I think the big question right now is kind of what started this and what is the state of the air right now. What is the air quality looking like for people?
Right. So good news first and foremost that no one in this plant is injured. So
Right.
So now the question is the bigger picture here of the surrounding area. What does it mean for people who live and work nearby? For sure. So that is what we need to get answered here in the next few minutes. Learning a little bit more about BioLab. So we just heard that statement from KIK Consumer Products. BioLab is the swimming pool and spa water care division of that company. They say their brands include industry leaders, BioGuard and SpaGuard that pioneered computerized water testing. All right, let's pull this audio up really quick. We want to make sure that we're able to hear anything that they say if they're getting ready to update us.
I have my big panel light. And I pulled up all the Thank you.
Let us know when you're ready.
I'm good whenever you are, dude. I'm ready. I'm good.
Good morning. My name is Melissa Mims. I'm the Public Relations Director for Rockdale County. At this time, we're going to have the Fire Chief speak, our EMA Director, and the Sheriff's Office.
Good morning. Marion McDaniel, Fire Chief for Rockdale County Fire Rescue. What we know is about 5 o'clock this morning, a sprinkler head malfunction causing a mixture with a water-reactive chemical. That chemical produced a plume that has been shifting north, as we know. We are right now working on evacuating or removing that material from the building, away from the water source. And so it will continue to off-gas, but at least it will not continue to cause any problems. There was a small fire on the roof, which has been contained. But at that time, right now, there are no other issues. Once again, we're looking at working on removing the material from the building. EPA is en route. We have made contact with other hazardous material companies to help us offload this product, and that is where we are at this time.
Do you know what caused the fire?
Once again, once the sprinkler head activated, it mixed with that chemical, and from that, the wiring and things caused the fire. So it was contained to a small area on the roof and was contained quite quickly.
Could you tell us how many people, we're hearing that people had to be evacuated and have an evacuation center set up. Do you know approximately how many people were evacuated?
So for that, I would like to refer to the Sheriff Department. They've been mitigating the evacuation process.
Did you have any employees in the building at the time?
With BioLab, yes, there were employees there.
And what's the status of them? Are they okay, or is anybody transported?
Yeah, everybody's been evacuated out of that immediate area. The plant manager is on site, and once again, EPA is on site, as well as other companies. So everyone in that immediate area has been removed.
No injuries?
No injuries reported at this time.
All firefighters and first responders okay?
All firefighters and first responders. Okay, we have about 60 folks over there on the scene working through this, so it's going to be a long process, but we're here to the end.
We've been hearing that this same location, I guess, had a fire in 2004. There was some incidents there in 2020 and even one this year as well. Can you speak to how many incidents have occurred?
I cannot, since I've been a part of Rockdale County for 7 years, and with that time, this is probably the third incident of this magnitude. There are smaller incidents that occurred, but incidents of this magnitude, this is about the third one within a 7-year period.
Were there the other two, were there fires as well? Or?
Once again, the product mixing with water, starting that chemical reaction, those type of situations.
What was the last one that you can remember?
That I remember, big one was 2021 of this magnitude, 2021.
Where do you, as far as safety, safety measures, we saw smoke in the air recently. It looks like it's clearing. What are you guys telling folks now to do?
We're telling people to shelter in place, keep your doors and windows closed. In the event the wind shift, this thing can change really quickly. But once again, shelter in place, windows and doors closed.
Do you know approximately how long it's going to take to get all of this material out of the
To give you a specific time, no, but I will say we'll be here all day. It's a very long process. We are just really still at the top of it. We have all agencies in place But once again, just the biggest thing right now is being able to get all those pallets out. So they have been working with different companies to get the necessary equipment on that we can remove those pallets. And once again, once we can get that chemical out of the building and allow it to burn off, we'll be in a much better place. But that is going to be a process.
Was that chemical chlorine in the
I
air?
do not know the specific type of chemical, but only that it is water reactive.
What about what was in the air? What, was it just
It was
smoke in the air?
it was from the product itself. The mixture of the water and the water reactive chemical produced that plume. What that plume consisted of, the particular chemicals, I do not know.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Sharon Webb, Director of EMA. And to sort of elaborate on what was just asked of Chief Mack, we have EPA and EPD just arrived on scene, so they will be conducting some air monitoring to give us more of an idea of what the plume consists of.
Where's the evacuation center?
The evacuation center is at our JP Carr Gym, which is at 90 Hardin Street, Covington, Georgia, 30012, and it's somewhat into the city of Conyers, and that's where all the evacuees will house up for right now.
How long do you think the shelter in place will be in effect? We just all got that emergency alert on our phones.
Yes, ma'am. There's really no specific time frame. It depends on what the readings come back for the plume, how it, what the chemicals are in it, and as far as when the pallets are cleared for the off-gassing to stop.
Do you have a time or like a radius of how many people were evacuated from the initial incident site?
I don't have a specific radius. I do know that we pushed it all the way up to the north side to the county for shelter in place, and then Lester Road was our main focus point for evacuations.
What can you say to people who are kind of concerned as far as safety? Like, am I going to get sick later? That type of
So ESF 8 has been notified with our local hospitals, and they will be pushing out a PSA in reference to irritants and things like that if someone was to accumulate those or what they need, the process they need to take.
So we asked you about the radius. Do you have a ballpark number of how many people you think you guys had to evacuate?
I'm going to turn that over to Rockdale County Sheriff's Office. They actually enforced evacuation, so they can give you more specific idea of number.
Hi, good morning. My name is Christine Nesbitt. I am the Public Information Officer for Rockdale County Sheriff's Office.
Christine, is it with a C or a K?
It's with the C.
Now, can you answer that question that I just had about the ballpark number of how many people you guys think that you had to evacuate?
We don't have that number at this time.
For those folks who have been evacuated to, I guess, the local gym, if they're not, will they be able to return back to their home tonight? And if not, is there a plan in place for those folks to stay there, or where would they go?
Right now, there's not a plan in place for if they are not able to return to their home later on tonight, but we are steady working on a plan.
A little bit more, but once again, we do have EPA on site. So once we get the product contained, get the situation itself mitigated, and then they will survey the area, the air, and once again we'll send out a public message speaking to whether or not you can return to your home if there's any further cause for concern.
So, I'm sorry to cut in, but you said a public message. Would it be an alert like we just got, like, hey, it's safe to return home? How are you going to get that message out?
Yes. So once again, we will communicate with EPA. They will get us the information letting us know if it's safe. If it's not safe, we will get it to our public directors, and they will get that message out.
So I guess what I'm asking specifically is, should people be looking at Facebook? Should they go to the Rockdale County?
Absolutely,
website?
yes. That is where you're going to get your most accurate information from Facebook, Rockdale County, Georgia, rockdalecountyga.gov, Facebook page will provide you accurate information. If there's something you do not understand, there's plenty of contact information for you to reach out. We much rather people to reach out if anything you do not understand. Do not get caught up in the rumors and don't want fear. This is a well-handled incident. All the particular specific entities are in place. We have this under control. We're looking to get it even more under control, and we will be out here until the very end.
Typically, how long does this process take? I know you said EPA is out here, but just a ballpark of how long this could take?
So we're looking to be here. This started once again about 5 o'clock. 5:30 is when my phone started ringing. And so from that to where we are now, we are still really in that first phase. Haven't really entered into the second phase. Second phase and third phase can happen quite quickly. Once again, the biggest thing is removing that product from the building. Once we can get that product up, which requires heavy equipment, which we have en route. Once we get that done, we can move forward. But once again, if you need information, go to rockdalecountyga.gov, social media, for all the information you need.
Anything else you guys want to say about the detours, any more road closures that you guys are anticipating this afternoon when you guys are able to get that?
Yeah, once everything is done and we've deemed this incident closed, all that information will be put out via social media, via press release, and that's where we are at that point. All right, thank you.
All right, you have been listening live to an update in Rockdale County from officials there, getting a lot more details now about this incident at a plant. I'm Megan Packer here with Atlanta News First Plus, joined by First Alert meteorologist Courtney Jacobazzi. So, Courtney, let's recap what we know. We just learned that this started around 5 o'clock this morning. Let's show you some video from earlier. This is some video our photographer shot a little while ago. This is not a live image, but this gives you an idea of just the smoke that people saw in this area. So we know that this started around 5 o'clock at the biolab facility there in Rockdale County. And the fire chief said that a sprinkler had malfunctioned. That caused a chemical reaction and a plume of smoke that moved northeast from the biolab building. There was a small fire on the roof that was contained, but they are still working to remove the reactive chemical to stop the chemical reaction that requires heavy equipment. The EPA is on scene now. All of the people who were working in the building are okay. They are accounted for, no injuries. They have been evacuated.
Right. And they were also saying no exact end time with all of this right now. The fire chief did say that this is a pretty lengthy process, which I imagine it would be, having to handle chemicals like that. It seems like there was a lot of whatever essentially reacted to the sprinkler system within that plant. So we were informed that extra people were coming in to help facilitate getting all of the product from within BioLab out and safely contained and put away. But right now, shelter in place order, and for the area surrounding the BioLab area from, I believe, Sigmund Road to I-20 is really the hot spot right now that people are being told to shelter in place.
The north side of the county is really now how they're wording it.
Okay.
North side of Rockdale County, shelter in place. And if you do need to shelter in place, they have opened a gym, the JP Card Gym, as the evacuation site for people that needed to go there. Otherwise, they're being told, people who live in that area, to keep their doors and windows shut and
Right.
to, stay at home.
Right, and that was something that we were concerned about. Again, we were talking about that southwest wind. The fire chief worried about a shift in wind direction. Thankfully, the wind isn't going to be extremely variable today, it doesn't look like. So hopefully, they will be able to kind of go in the direction that they're going in right now and kind of contain it and assess without the wind changing direction and shifting rapidly. It'd be a completely different story if a cold front was coming through here where the wind changes really fast. But again, no estimated end time to this. There's a lot of work that needs to be done between the cleanup process and the assessment process with the air quality. So right now, again, that shelter in place order, if you live in this area, you probably got the emergency alert on your phone. So if you got that emergency alert on your phone, just be sure you are heeding the warning and taking the precautions that were listed there, which of course is shelter in place and keep your doors and windows shut right now.
60 first responders on the scene. So you can imagine this is a pretty big response. So they are there. That was the Rockdale County Fire Chief, who we heard from, also the EMA director and a spokesperson for the county. But yes, they tell us that 60 first responders are on that scene. So that is the very latest. No injuries, and this was caused by sprinklers malfunctioning in the biolab plant this morning. It started around 5 a.m. That caused a reaction with chemicals in that plant. There was a small fire on the roof, but again, everybody is accounted for. The EPA is on site to get this under control, but people in the northern half of the county, again, being told to evacuate, and then others nearby being told to shelter in place. So we will keep you updated all day long on our streaming channels here on Atlanta News First Plus. I'm Megan Packer. I've been joined by First Alert meteorologist Courtney Jacobazzi. Courtney, thank you so much for all of your helpful information, and we will keep you updated all day long. We will have crews out there. Be sure to download our Atlanta News First app. We will give you the very latest there as well. But for now, we will sign off here, but much more to come throughout the day as we learn more about this developing story in Rockdale County. Thanks for sticking with us this morning.